Well, welcome to New York, where we have the snowpocalypse is happening right now outside. The snowpocalypse. Snowpocalypse. I don't like snow. Let's do a video on the 2002, 2003 era. Actually, let's really get to the bare bones of it. It's really going to be, let's say, 2000 to 2003. Now let's disclaimer here. Disclaimer. Disclaimer. I'm not bashing Gibson, okay? And people tend to think people who talk negative about Gibson are usually bashing Gibson. We're not bashing Gibson. I'm definitely not bashing Gibson. I mean, from what I let you see in the videos, I'm talking about. I've spent so much money on Gibson guitars in 29 years, and before 29 years for 35 years. So, before the historic collection, I had USA's. I'm a big fan of Gibson. Always been a big fan of Gibson. I'm a Gibson guitar player. Always will be. I have Fenders. Love Fender, but I'm a Gibson guy. So I don't talk bad about them because I want to talk bad about them, because I do, because they deserve it. The people at the factory, some of them we know. I say we know Les Paul Forum. Some of them are Les Paul Forum members, believe it or not. They're great people. They do a great job. The guitars are fantastic, and don't let people say, "Oh, quality control." I've never seen a historic Les Paul out there that really was so terrible that how it could have slipped by quality control. No. They're fantastic. They do great jobs. It's the suits that are the problem. And we all know how the suits can be. So, Henry Juskowitz technically saved the company. He did. Let's look at it that way. He was a little crazy and he did a lot of odd things, and believe me, the man himself was a little odd too. When I was at the custom shop many years ago, and there's a lot of guys who will corroborate my fucking. He was a little odd, and he was jingling his change in his pocket, and I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing something. Either that, or he was so drunk. I mean, who knows? When we were at the custom shop, they had an open bar. You could drink yourself to oblivion. It was all free. I mean, you know, I don't drink, so but still, who knows? But he was an odd guy. He was a very odd guy. Rick Gembar was never a fan of Rick Gembar. Don't like Rick Gembar. Got into a fight with Rick Gembar. Let's talk about this. 2000 was another anniversary. No, they do anniversary years every now and then. They have the 40th anniversary, the 50th anniversary, the 60th anniversary, and what I'm going to talk about here is this, which is very important. Gibson likes to play games with their customers. They come up with anniversaries. They come up with special run models. They come with they change the name of the guitars from VOS to True Historic back to VOS. They do all kinds of stuff. Now, that is a good business model. It's what you're supposed to do. You're in the business of selling instruments. That's what you do. It's your product. I understand that. It's not, something that millions of other companies don't do. But when it comes down to, in my opinion, ethics, it's a little unethical to fuck with people that way, who are spending $6,000 to $7,000 to $10,000, $10,000 and under on historics. Let's just face it. Historics can run from roughly about $4,000 up to 10. Anything after 10, no, sorry, fuck off. No historics worth more than 10. Period. 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 So, my first 59 was in 2000. Before that, I had a lot of gold tops and customs and stuff like that. I couldn't afford the 59. A lot of people get like that and they go, "Oh, I got my first 59," and it is. It's pretty cool. I mean, I was there at one point. I was like, "Wow, I got my first 59. This is so cool." And it was great. I mean, really, was it much different than a 57? No, not really. But still, you want the flame. Oh my god, I got the flame down. And you know, I always laugh when somebody says, "I got my first historic," and they're all happy and shit like that, because I was there. You know, and it's nice. You know, when you really really want something, and you really really, you know, it's really nice to have a really nice instrument if you're a musician and all that kind of stuff. It's great. So when I see people get like that, I get mad at Gibson because, you know, um, a lot of people save up money and they spend a lot of money, and I'm no different. I'm not a millionaire. I know a lot of people think I am because I always got a lot of guitars. That don't mean jack shit. People don't mean jack shit. You know? Um, so in 2000, the historics were at a certain point where they weren't really historically accurate. There were a lot of things that were wrong. So they wanted to change them. 2001 came around. The Lifton cases came out in 2001. That was a big deal. That was nice. That was a nice thing. It was a nice touch, you know. And they started to reprint all of the paperwork. I had that in another video. I showed you the paperwork. They started to do that in 2001. The tailpiece came into play. The lightweight tailpiece came into play in 2001. But everything wasn't still perfect. So what happened was 2002 rolled around. Now here's where the shit begins. In 2002, they changed the inlays to the sharp inlays, which is how they're supposed to be. They changed the tuning alignment, where they're in a V, like they're supposed to be. Okay? What else did they change? The ABR1 became a non-wire ABR1. That's right, in 2002, there was a non-wire ABR1 for the whole year. Yes. Bumblebee caps came into play in 2002. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. For other people, I believe it was, yes, it was 2002. It had to be 2002. Bumblebee caps. The fake Bumblebee caps. Not really Bumblebee caps, but anyway. But that's suffice to say, all that is a good thing. But what they did was this. They announced that the 59 Les Paul for 2002 would be a limited edition. There would only be a certain amount of them made, and that the historic collection was coming to an end. Yes, they did announce that in 2002. No more historic collections. And and you better hurry up and get them, because that's going to be it's going to be it. But the price jumped. The price jumped to $6,000. People were nuts. People got really mad. $6,000, because they weren't $6,000. They were about 3, 4. You know, they were expensive, but they weren't $6,000. They jumped to $6,000. So what did they do for you now? Well, you got the guitar. You got a Lifton case. You got a black case. You got all the paperwork. You got a sock. Yeah, it was a sock, and it said historic collection. It was nice. A sock. And you got this big swatch. It was called a swatch. It was an embroidered square. It had a guitar on it, 59 Les Paul, such and so forth, right? About the size of that. Not that, but that. About the size of that. It was huge. And it was thick like this. It's heavy, big fucking thing. And you got a little card, like a credit card. And the credit card had your serial number on it, had your name on it, and it was your guitar and your credit card, your thing of this. Okay? Now, I had 3 2002s, 3 of them. They were great guitars. They were, you know, they were just more evolution of historics as they went along. But this was the major changes, because after this, the guitar doesn't change, period, until they got rid of the truss rod sheath, or the truss rod condom as we used to call it. And they started using high glue for the neck and the fretboard. Remember, neck, fretboard only high glue. Tops are not glued on with high glue. They're glued on with epoxy. And yes, that's how it was in the 50s. So, 2002, we had the inlays. Dot markers became tortoiseshell. The tuners were now in a V. The tailpiece, of course, was lightweight. That happened to 01, but the ABR didn't have a wire anymore, which is correct for the era. All right. What else did happen in 22? Anyway, there were a few things. Structurally, I'm trying not to point out parts, even though the ABR1 is a part. Still, it was a big deal because they put back the fucking wire. So it went up. Everybody ran out. Great. Let's get one. It was a big rush. And look, as a company, you want that, right? You want people to go buy you. Go buy this, hurry up. Of course, yes, they announced in 2002 that the top carve was now correct and the neck was correct. They do that every year. Every year they say that. You know what they also fuck with a lot? This little mustache at the top. They have fucked with that every year. They change it a little bit. Just a little bit. A little bit here. They change a little bit here. They change a little bit there. No such thing as 59. Not really. So what happened? Well, 2002 came to an end. 2003 rolled around. But did the historic collection come to an end? Oh, no, it definitely did not. It definitely did not. Did they not make 59s in 23? Oh, no. No. The 59 came out 58, 52, 54, 56, 57, 60, 61, because remember, an SG is a Les Paul. They had a tremendous... The line got bigger. They had everything. Firebirds. They had everything. So from 2003 on, it just got bigger. Nothing ended. Bullshit. But the kick in the ass comes here. The 59 Les Paul dropped in price back down to $4,000 from $6,000. Now, you didn't get the swatch and all the other bullshit, but who the hell wants the bullshit? I don't want bullshit. I want an accurate guitar, and I want, like the case, maybe a couple of the papers, and that's all I fucking need. I don't need a swatch and a fucking sock, and you don't need all that crap. If that's going to drive up the price, fuck that. Right? So 2003 rolls around, price drops, guitars come out. Oh, we got this changed again. The top carve changed again. The next changed again. Oh yeah, every year they do that shit. Believe me, every fucking year they'll tell you that they changed the top carve. Every year. So price drops. Not only that, but we're gonna have a special run of Brazilian rosewood for 2003. Oh yes, we're gonna have 59s and 57s, and they're gonna certain serial numbers, as in we're gonna make a certain amount of them for a certain amount of them. And not only that, but we will never use, this is Gibson's own words, we will never use Brazilian rosewood ever again. Gibson's own words. You don't fucking believe me? Look it up on the forum. We will never use Brazilian rosewood again. So you better hurry up, run out there and get one. People, oh, shit, gotta get one. Is that one Brazilian? I don't know. Check the serial number. Call Gibson. Oh yeah, it's certified Brazilian. Because the funny thing is too, is that they never certified them. For you to know that yours has Brazilian, you have to call Gibson up. You think that they would put it on the serial, they would put it on the certificate as Brazilian rosewood, but they didn't do that. People ran out again. People were really pissed off though from 2002. You mean to tell me that now I get Brazilian for no extra charge and I get to pay $4,000 for the guitar? I was irate. I was pissed. A lot of people were pissed. But they said tough shit. That's the way it is. So it was a big to do because a lot of people spent a lot of money when they said a certain thing. And then they turned around and did, the complete opposite the next year. But not only that, and here's another kick in the ass. 2003 is another kick in the ass because when they were done with Brazilian rosewood, remember, Gibson got raided by the feds because they supposedly had wood, they shouldn't have had. I'm not going to argue about the points and whatever. I think it's total bullshit. I don't think they did have it because I know Ed Wilson, I don't think Ed Wilson would have illegal wood. I find that very hard to believe. But anyway, did Gibson never use Brazilian rosewood again? Oh no, they use it again. Oh yeah, because once 2010 rolled around and the 2010 to current, then there's Brazilian rosewood, certified Brazilian rosewood. And the really funny kick in the ass is that 2004, I got a 59 with Brazilian rosewood on it. And as a matter of fact, I went to Rudy's, and those who don't know who Rudy's a guitar shop here in New York. Um, Rudy had an entire fucking back and sides Brazilian Rosewood 2005. Never use it again. Yeah, never use it again. Unless you got some money, then they'll use it for you. So, what I'm trying to pinpoint is that it's not Gibson, the people who build the guitars. It's the suits. And you have to remember it is a business, and they are in business to make you buy a guitar. And as you see, in 29 years, it takes them 29 fucking years to get a 59 Les Paul right, which is completely bullshit. They could have got it. They could have had it completely right in '93. You know, it doesn't take 29 years to do this. It doesn't. You just have to look at it that way. And believe me, I got caught up in the hype. Also, I bought a 2010 59 because the top carve was correct this time, and I went to that as full of shit. That's when I started to realize that they're such full of shit. You know, they didn't change a goddamn thing. You feel it. They didn't change anything. They tell you they do. They didn't. Whatever. But again, try not to get caught up in hype with Gibson. And it's not always Gibson's fault. It's a lot of times the aftermarket's fault. Because you'll get a lot of people on Reverb, and you just said, "Oh, this is a special," and Murphy touched it with his hands, and that's it give you an extra 10,000. Don't fall for that shit. As I said in my special run things, they're all historics, and if you're going to pay a premium, then make sure that there's something different about that guitar that you're paying that premium for, and think about it: is it really worth paying a premium for a fucking color, or because the guitar is like lighter than this guitar, or the only thing that I see a premium that you should be paying a premium for is if it has an amazing top and it weighs whatever weight you like it to weigh, but when it comes down to it, the top and the weight dictate the price of the guitar. It always does. It always will, period. Because that's why a lot of people like 90s ones, because the tops back then were really like super. They also double dyed them back then. It's something that maybe is some people are missing. The tops were double dyed, as in they brought out the flame in the wood by putting more dye into the tops and then finishing them. That's why some of them are so like holy shit. They don't have much movement. They stopped doing that around 2000. They stopped doing that, and you can see when you look at them. You can look at the finish. You can tell which is double dyed, which isn't. So that's the 2002, 2003 era, and that's what happened. And since 2003, they have been manipulating and playing the planned obsolescence game with the historic, and they still do, and they still will, and that's just what happens. The second kick in the ass was the True Historic line, when they renamed the historic line, and they didn't change anything but knobs, basically, on the guitar. They changed knobs, and they made the pickguard wrong. So, but like I said, they do that. They had the non-wire ABR1. They went back to the wired ABR1 in 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007. Why? Well, people were complaining the saddle fell out. People were complaining about the backs and the bleeding. So around 2008, it was 2008, where they changed the dye on the back. It was still analog dye, but it wasn't exactly. It was, they fixed something where it wouldn't bleed. Does it look, it looks slightly different. If you look at them, you can see the difference, like one next to it. I have one. It doesn't really bother me too much. I'd rather it bleed, let it be the right one. Then once they rolled in it's a True Historic, they just made the back so fucking dark that it was like a little ridiculous. But again, True Historic didn't change a goddamn thing. Said they did, but didn't change much. And they renamed it. Come on, hurry up, buy the guitar. They changed it back to VOS now. They do that a lot. And like I said, if you're around for 29 years, they do this a lot. And you don't go crazy. So, 60th anniversary again, 60th anniversary, 50th anniversary, 40th. Don't get caught up in anniversaries. They do that all the time too. Oh, anniversary, anniversary, anniversary. One more thing. This is 20 fucking minutes. You're not gonna make a lot of money on a guitar. These are not bursts. There are roughly 1,700 bursts in the world were made back then. Back then. So how many survive today? The reason why a burst is so expensive is not because of the guitar that it is. It's because of the rarity that it is. That's why they're so expensive. Today you have historics. They're basically bursts. Okay? But there's thousands upon, maybe millions. Who knows how many of these fucking guitars there actually is over 29 years. They only made bursts for 3 years. So if you're thinking you're gonna make millions of dollars on a Murphy Lab, Murphy licked it while he did this, and then Bob touched it and Jill went over here, and it doesn't mean jack shit, man. It just doesn't. There's too many of these lying around. Find a good one you like, enjoy the shit out of it, play the shit out of it, ding it, scratch it, do all you gotta do, because you know what? You're gonna be dead one day, and this thing will still be around, not you.